Let me guess. You're in your 20s, scrolling through Instagram watching people your age flexing Lambos and luxury apartments while you're eating ramen and wondering how you're gonna pay rent next month. Your friends are talking about crypto gains and side hustles while you're stuck at a $45,000 a year job that barely covers your student loans. And you're thinking, am I doing something wrong? Is everyone else just lucky? Here's the truth. Luck has nothing to do with it. Over 500 years ago, Machiavelli laid out the exact blueprint for gaining power and wealth. And if you apply his ruthless principles to your 20s, you can get rich faster than you ever thought possible. Stay with me for the next 50 minutes. I promise you, by the end of this video, you'll understand exactly what separates broke 20-somethings from the ones building serious wealth right now. Point 1. Master a high-income skill that actually pays. Your degree alone won't make you rich. Machiavelli said a prince must master the art of war to keep his power. In your 20s, your art of war is mastering a skill that makes you 10,000 to pluses a month. Here's the harsh reality nobody told you. Your college degree alone isn't enough to make you rich. Don't get me wrong. Education is important, and a degree opens doors, especially in fields like engineering, medicine, and law. But here's what they don't teach you in school. A degree gets you in the door, but skills get you paid. You can have a business degree and make $42,000 a year. Or you can have that same degree plus high-income skills like copywriting or sales and make $150,000. The difference isn't the education, it's the additional capabilities you build on top of it. The system taught you that college is the finish line. Get the degree, get the job, you're set. But that's just the starting line. The people getting rich in their 20s aren't just relying on their degrees. They're stacking high-value skills on top of their education that the market desperately needs and will pay premium rates for. Your degree proves you can learn and commit to something, but the skills you master are what actually generate wealth. Let me tell you about Jake, a 23-year-old from Denver who graduated with a business degree in 2023. His education gave him a solid foundation. He understood marketing principles, business strategy, and communication. But when he entered the job market, he realized something. Everyone had a degree. His classmates all had the same credentials. What separated those making $45,000 from those making $150,000 wasn't the degree. It was what additional skills they had developed. Jake landed an entry-level marketing job making $42,000, which was fine, but he knew he wanted more. His degree got him the job, but it wasn't going to make him rich. So while working full-time, Jake decided to master one high-income skill on top of his education: copywriting, the art of writing sales copy that makes companies millions. He used the business principles he learned in college and applied them to this specific marketable skill. He spent 3 months after work and on weekends obsessively learning. He took courses, studied successful sales pages, practiced writing 2,000 words a day, and built a portfolio. His business education helped him understand consumer psychology and strategy, but copywriting was the practical application that generated money. Then he started reaching out to e-commerce companies, offering to write their sales pages. His first client was a supplement company. Jake wrote their product page using both his business education and his new copywriting skills, and it increased their conversion rate by 40%, generating an extra $50,000 in monthly revenue. They paid him $3,000 for that one page. Within 6 months, Jake was freelancing on the side, making an extra $4,000 to $6,000 a month on top of his job. Within a year, he went full-time freelance, making over $150,000 a year. His degree opened doors and gave him credibility. His high-income skill made him wealthy. Here's the key insight: education plus high-income skills, wealth. Your degree matters. It gives you knowledge, credibility, and access to opportunities. But you need to add practical revenue-generating skills on top of that foundation. Think of your degree as your base and high-income skills as your multiplier. A degree alone might get you a $50,000 job. A degree plus coding skills gets you $120,000. A degree plus sales ability gets you $150,000. A Degree plus multiple skills gets you 200,000 plus. So, what are the highest income skills you can master in your 20s to stack on top of your education? Let's break it down. First, coding and software development. Whether you studied computer science or business, learning JavaScript, Python, or React makes you exponentially more valuable. Within 6 to 12 months of focused learning, you can freelance for $75 to $150 an hour, or get a remote job making $80,000 to $120,000. Resources: Free Code Camp, the Odin Project, Codecademy. Second, copywriting and content creation. No matter what you studied, learning persuasive writing makes you invaluable. Write sales copy, email sequences, landing pages. Freelancers charge $3,000 to $10,000 per project. Your degree helps you think strategically, but copywriting skills execute that strategy profitably. Third, video editing and content production. Every brand needs video content. Learning Adobe Premiere or Final Cut and charging $500 to $2,000 per video can transform your income, regardless of your major. Fourth, sales and communication. If you can sell, you can make $100,000+ in your 20s through commissions in tech sales, real estate, or B2B. Your degree gives you professionalism and knowledge, but sales skills close deals and generate income. Fifth, paid advertising and marketing. Master Facebook ads, Google ads, or TikTok ads. Companies pay $2,000 to $10,000 a month for profitable ad management. Your marketing degree gives you theory. Ad skills give you results. Here's the action plan. First, don't abandon your education. Finish your degree, get the credential, build that foundation. It matters for credibility, career options, and long-term growth. But while you're in school or right after graduating, commit to mastering one high-income skill. Spend 2 to 3 hours daily learning and practicing something practical that generates revenue. Second, build a portfolio even with 0 clients. Create spec work to showcase your ability. Third, offer your skill to get real clients and testimonials while keeping your main job or studies. Fourth, stack your degree knowledge with your new skill to become uniquely valuable. A business grad who codes is more valuable than either alone. An engineer who can sell is unstoppable. A communications major who edits video professionally commands premium rates. Fifth, keep improving and raising your rates as you deliver results. Here's why this works so well in your 20s. You have energy, time, and the ability to learn fast. Your education gave you the mental framework. Now add practical skills that convert that knowledge into income. You're not choosing between education and skills. You're combining both to become unstoppable in the marketplace. Machiavelli said fortune favors the bold and the prepared. Your degree prepares your mind. High-income skills prepare your wallet. Together they make you rich. Respect your education, leverage it, but don't stop there. Master a skill the market pays for. Stack it on top of your degree and watch your income multiply. That's how you build real wealth in your 20s. Look, if what I'm sharing is actually helping you, would you mind hitting that like button? It means the world to me and helps this reach someone else who's struggling just like you might be. All right, let's keep building. Point 2. Build multiple income streams before 25. Never depend on one. Paycheck. Machiavelli warned that a prince who relies on one ally will fall when that ally betrays him. In your 20s, relying on one job is financial suicide. Here's something most people in their 20s don't realize until it's too late. Your job is not your security. It's your biggest vulnerability. You could be working at a tech startup making $65,000, thinking you're doing great. And then boom, layoffs hit, funding dries up, the company pivots, and you're out. Or you're working retail making $35,000, and your hours get cut because the store is struggling. Or you're in a corporate job and your entire department gets outsourced. In America, employment is at will. They can fire you for almost any reason, any time. If 100% of your income comes from one source, you're one bad day away from being completely broke. Machiavelli understood diversification of power. A wise prince never puts all his military strength in one army or all his alliances in one kingdom. If that army is defeated or that ally turns, he's finished. The same principle applies to your income in your 20s. If you only have one income stream, your job, and that stream disappears, you have nothing. But if you have 3, 4, 5 streams of income, losing one doesn't destroy you. It's an inconvenience, not a catastrophe. This is how you build real financial security in your 20s, not by finding the perfect job, but by building multiple sources of income that protect you from any single point of failure. Let me tell you about Mia, a 25-year-old graphic designer in Los Angeles, making $52,000 a year at a marketing agency. On paper, she was doing fine. Decent salary, cool office, good benefits. But Mia was smart enough to realize she was vulnerable. All her income came from one company. If they let her go, she'd have zero income overnight. So while working her full-time job, Mia started building additional income streams. First, she started taking freelance design projects on weekends through Fiverr and Upwork. She charged $300 to $800 per logo or brand package. That brought in an extra $200 to $2,000 a month. Then Mia got strategic. She created a design template shop on Etsy and Creative Market. Instagram story templates, resume templates, presentation decks. She spent 2 months building 50 templates. Once they were uploaded, they sold passively while she slept. That brought in another $400 to $700 a month, with zero ongoing effort. Third, she started a YouTube channel teaching beginner graphic design. She posted 1 video a week. After 8 months, she monetized it with ads and affiliate links to design software. That added another $300 to $500 a month. Within 18 months, Mia went from one income stream of $52,000 to 5 income streams totaling about $75,000 annually. Her full-time job, freelance projects, template sales, YouTube ad revenue and affiliate commissions. Then the unthinkable happened. Her agency lost their biggest client and laid off 40% of staff, including Mia. Her friends who got laid off panicked. They scrambled to find new jobs, went into debt. Some moved back with parents. But Mia, she was totally fine. Her side income streams were bringing in $3,000 to $4,000 a month, enough to cover her rent and expenses. She had 6 months of savings. She took a month off, then launched her freelance design business full-time. Within 6 months, she was making $90,000. A year with complete control over her time and clients. That's the power of multiple income streams in your 20s. It's not just about making more money. It's about building protection, flexibility, and options. When you have multiple streams, you're not desperate. You're not stuck. You can walk away from toxic jobs. You can take risks on opportunities. You can weather economic downturns. You become financially anti-fragile. You get stronger when things go wrong, not weaker. So how do you actually build multiple income streams in your 20s? Let's break it down practically. Stream 1, your main job. This is your foundation, your W-2 income with benefits and stability. Don't quit this to chase side hustles. Use it as your base while you build other streams. Stream 2, freelancing or consulting. Take whatever skill you have. Writing, design, coding, marketing, video editing, and sell it on the side. Platforms like Upwork, Fiverr, Freelancer make it easy. Start with small projects, build reviews, raise your rates. Even $1,000 to $2,000 extra per month changes your life in your 20s. Stream 3, digital products or content. Create something once, sell it repeatedly. Notion templates, Canva designs, Lightroom presets, ebooks, online courses, stock photos. List them on Etsy, Gumroad, Teachable, or your own site. Yes, it takes upfront work, but once created, they generate passive income for years. Stream 4, content creation and monetization. Start a YouTube channel, TikTok, Instagram, or blog in your niche. Once you hit monetization thresholds, earn from ads, sponsorships, and affiliate marketing. It takes 6 to 12 months to build, but can generate $500 to $5,000 plazas monthly once established. Stream 5, investment income. Start investing early in index funds, dividend stocks, or ETFs. Even $200 a month invested in your early 20s compounds massively by your 30s. Robinhood, Fidelity, Schwab, make it easy. This won't generate much income immediately, But in 5 to 10 years, your dividends and gains become a real income stream. Stream 6, gig economy and asset monetization. Drive for Uber or DoorDash a few hours on weekends. Rent your car on Turo when you're not using it. Rent your parking space on Spot Hero. Sublease a room on Airbnb. These aren't career moves, but they're quick ways to generate $500 to $1,500 monthly with minimal time. Here's the strategy for building multiple streams without burning out. First, start with one additional stream while keeping your job. Pick freelancing or digital products, something aligned with skills you already have. Spend 10 to 15 hours per week building it for 3 months until it generates consistent income of $500 to $1,000 monthly. Second, once that stream is stable, add a second stream. Maybe you start content creation or invest your freelance earnings. Don't try to do everything at once or you'll quit from overwhelm. Third, systematize and automate wherever possible. Digital products sell while you sleep. YouTube videos generate ad revenue for years. Investments compound automatically. Freelancing is the only stream that always requires your time. So eventually, you'll want to replace it with more passive streams or turn it into an agency where others do the work. Fourth, reinvest income from new streams into building more streams. Use freelance money to fund your investments. Use YouTube revenue to create better digital products. Each stream funds the growth of others, creating a compound effect. Fifth, track all your income streams monthly. See which ones grow, which ones plateau, which ones need more attention. Double down on what works, cut what doesn't. Your income ecosystem should evolve. What works at 22 might not work at 27. Stay flexible and strategic. Here's the truth: most 20-somethings learn too late. The idea of job security is dead. Companies don't care about loyalty. The economy is unpredictable. Industries change overnight. Putting all your financial faith in one employer is naive and dangerous. But when you build multiple income streams, you create your own security. You become the employer, the business, the ecosystem. You're not waiting for someone to pay you. You're generating income from multiple sources that you control. Machiavelli taught that power concentrated in one place is fragile. Power distributed across multiple sources is unbreakable. Apply that to your income in your 20s. One stream is fragile, lose it and you're broke. 5 streams are unbreakable. Lose one and you're still thriving. Start building your second income stream this month. Pick something realistic based on your skills and time. Commit to 10 hours a week for 90 days. Get it to $500 a month. Then add another stream. By 25, you should have at least 3 solid income streams. By 30, you should have 5 to 7. That's how you build real wealth and security in your 20s. Not by climbing someone else's corporate ladder, but by building your own income ecosystem that nobody can take away from you. Point 3. Invest aggressively early. Time is your unfair advantage. Machiavelli said a prince must strike while the iron is hot. In your 20s, compound interest is your iron, and it's burning red hot right now. Here's a stat that should change your entire perspective on money. If you invest $500 a month starting at age 22 and average a 10% annual return, by the time you're 65, you'll have over $3.8 million. But if you wait until you're 32 to start investing that same $500 a month, you'll only have about $1.4 million. That's a $2.4 million difference just by starting 10 years earlier. Same monthly amount, same return. But because you started in your 20s instead of your 30s, you more than doubled your wealth. That's the power of compound interest. And it's the single biggest advantage you have in your 20s time. Every month you wait to start, investing is literally costing you tens of thousands of dollars in future wealth. But here's the problem. Most people in their 20s think investing is for people with money. They think I'll start investing when I'm making more, or I'll invest once I pay off my debt, or I don't know anything about stocks, so I'll learn later. Meanwhile, time is slipping away, and with it, your greatest wealth-building advantage. Machiavelli understood that waiting for the perfect moment to act is how princes lose kingdoms. The perfect moment is now, not when you're making 6 figures, not when you understand every detail of the market. Now with whatever you can invest. even if it's just $50 a month. Let me tell you about Alex, a 23-year-old barista in Seattle making $32,000 a year. Not much money, right? Most people would say, Alex can't afford to invest. But Alex understood something his peers didn't. Time was more valuable than the amount he invested. He was living with roommates, keeping expenses low. And after rent, food, and bills, he had maybe $300 left over each month. Most of his friends spent that on going out, clothes, concerts. Alex decided to invest $200 of it every single month into a Roth IRA, buying low-cost S&P 500 index funds. His friends thought he was crazy. Bro, you're making $32K and you're investing? Live a little. But Alex stayed disciplined. Month after month, $200 went into his Roth IRA automatically. He did this from age 23 to age 30, 7 years. Then at 30, he stopped contributing entirely. He didn't add another dollar, but he left that money invested. By age 65, assuming a 10% average annual return, that $16,800 he invested in his 20s will have grown to over $1.1 million. Tax-free, because it's a Roth IRA. Alex invested less than $17K in 7 years and became a millionaire just by starting young and letting compound interest do the work. Compare that to his friend Josh, who waited until 30 to start investing because he wanted to enjoy his 20s. At 30, Josh started investing $200 a month and did it. For 35 years until age 65, way longer than Alex. Josh invested a total of $84,000 compared to Alex's $16,800. But because Josh started late, his account only grew to about $680,000. Alex, who invested less money over fewer years but started earlier, ended up with $400,000 more just because of time. That's the power of starting in your 20s. Time is the multiplier that makes small amounts of money turn into massive wealth. Here's the principle Machiavelli would apply. In your 20s, you don't need a lot of money to build wealth. You need time and consistency. Investing $100 a month starting at 22 will beat investing $500 a month starting at 35. The younger you start, the less you need to contribute, because compound interest does the heavy lifting. Your money makes money, and then that money makes money, and it snowballs exponentially over decades. But you can't get that time back. If you waste your 20s not investing, you'll have to invest way more in your 30s and 40s to catch up, and most people never do. So how do you actually start investing aggressively in your 20s? Let's break it down step by step. Step 1. Open a Roth IRA immediately. This is the best investment account for people in their 20s. You contribute after-tax money, but it grows completely tax-free, and withdrawals in retirement are tax-free. In 2025, you can contribute up to $7,000 per year. Open one with Fidelity, Vanguard, or Schwab. Takes 10 minutes online. Step 2. Automate your contributions. Set up automatic transfers from your checking account to your Roth IRA every month. Even if it's just $50 or $100 to start, automate it so you never have to think about it. Step 3. Invest in low-cost index funds. Don't try to pick individual stocks. Don't chase crypto hype. Don't day trade. Buy boring diversified index funds like VOO, Vanguard S&P 500, or VTI, Vanguard Total Stock Market. These funds own hundreds or thousands of companies, giving you instant diversification. Historically, the S&P 500 returns about 10% annually over the long term. You don't need to be smart or lucky, just consistent. Step 4. Never touch this money. The Roth IRA is for retirement. Don't withdraw it for a vacation or a car. Let it sit and compound for 40+ years. The longer it compounds, the more powerful it becomes. Step 5. Increase contributions whenever your income increases. Got a raise? Increase your monthly investment by $50. Freelance project paid well. Throw an extra $500 into your Roth IRA. Tax refund. Invest it. The more you invest in your 20s, the less you'll need to stress about money in your 40s, 50s, and 60s. Step 6. Max out your employer 401k match if available. If your job offers a 401k with employer matching, contribute at least enough to get the full match. That's free money, an instant 50% to 100% return. Then prioritize your Roth IRA, then go back and max the 401k if you can. Here's what aggressive investing looks like in your 20s at different income levels. If you're making 30k, 40k, invest $100 to $200 per month, on $200 to $12,400 a year. Over 40 years at 10% return, that's 600k to 1.2 matters. If you're making 40k, 60ks, invest $300 to $500 per month, $3,600 to $6,000 a year. Over 40 years, that's 1.8 matters to 3 matters. If you're making 60k plus, max out your Roth IRA at $583 a month, $7,000 a year, plus contribute to your 401k. Over 40 years, that's 4M plus. These aren't fantasies. This is basic math with historical market returns. Now let's address the objections. I have student loans. Should I invest or pay debt first? Here's the rule. If your debt has an interest rate over 7%, pay it off aggressively first. If it's under 7%, make minimum payments and invest simultaneously, because your investments will likely outpace that interest rate. What if the market crashes? It will. Multiple times over your life. Doesn't matter. You're investing for 40 plus years. Crashes are temporary. Over decades, the market always trends up. In fact, crashes are buying opportunities. You're buying stocks on sale. What if I need the money? That's what your emergency fund is for. Point 3 from the Financial Freedom Script. Never invest money you need in the next 5 years. Here's the brutal truth most people in their 20s don't accept until it's too late. You will never have more time than you have right now. Every single day you delay investing is costing you compound growth you can never get back. You might think, I'll start next year when I'm making more money. But next year you'll have new expenses, new obligations, new excuses. The best time to start was yesterday. The second best time is today. Right now. Not when you feel ready, not when you understand the market better. Now Machiavelli taught that fortune favors the bold and the swift. Those who hesitate lose opportunities forever. In your 20s, your opportunity is time. The market doesn't care how much you know. It cares how long you're invested. Start small if you have to, but start now. Open that Roth IRA this week. Set up automatic contributions. Buy an index fund. Then forget about it and let time do its magic. While your friends are blowing money on things they won't remember in 5 years, you're building a foundation that will make you a millionaire. That's the Machiavellian move. Sacrifice short-term pleasures for long-term power. Invest aggressively in your 20s, and by your 40s you'll have wealth and freedom your peers can only dream about. Don't wait. Time is ticking, and every month you delay costs you tens of thousands in future wealth. Point 4. Network strategically. Your circle determines your income. Machiavelli said a prince's power is measured by his alliances. In your 20s, your network is your net worth. And most of you are networking with broke people. Here's a truth that will make you uncomfortable. If all your friends are broke, you'll stay broke. If everyone in your circle is working dead-end jobs, complaining about money and living paycheck to paycheck, that's exactly where you'll end up. Not because you're not smart or talented, but because your environment shapes your reality. Machiavelli understood that a prince's success depends entirely on the quality of his alliances. Weak allies make a weak prince. Strong strategic alliances make a powerful prince. The same applies to you in your 20s. The people you spend time with, the mentors you learn from, the connections you build. These determine whether you stay stuck or break through to real wealth. Most people in their 20s network completely wrong. They hang out with the same high school friends who have no ambition. They go to college parties and make surface-level connections that lead nowhere. They scroll LinkedIn but never actually reach out to anyone. They think networking is fake or using people, so they avoid it entirely. Meanwhile, the people getting rich in their 20s are strategically building relationships with people who can open doors, teach them valuable skills, introduce them to opportunities, and elevate their thinking. They understand that success isn't just about what you know, it's about who knows you and who's willing to help you. Let me tell you about Carlos, a 24-year-old from Miami working a $38,000 a year retail management job. Carlos was smart, hardworking, and ambitious, but he was surrounded by people who had zero drive. His co-workers complained about customers all day. His friends from high school were still partying every weekend with no real goals. His family, while supportive, didn't understand business or wealth building. Carlos felt stuck. He was the most ambitious person in his circle, which meant he had nobody pushing him higher, nobody opening doors, nobody showing him what was possible. Then Carlos made a decision that changed everything. He started deliberately seeking out people who were where he wanted to be. He found local entrepreneur meetups through meetup.com and Eventbrite and forced himself to attend, even though he felt out of place at first. He joined online communities for side hustlers and freelancers. He started engaging with successful people on LinkedIn and Twitter, not just liking their posts, but leaving thoughtful comments that showed he actually understood what they were talking about. He reached out to people 5 to 10 years ahead of him and asked for 15-minute coffee chats, offering to buy them coffee in exchange for advice. Most people ignored him, but a few responded. One guy, Marcus, was a 32-year-old who had built a successful e-commerce business. Marcus agreed to meet Carlos for coffee. They talked for an hour. Marcus shared his story, his mistakes, what he wished he'd known at 24. At the end, Carlos asked if he could check in once a month for advice. Marcus said yes. Over the next year, that relationship became invaluable. Marcus introduced Carlos to other entrepreneurs. He reviewed Carlos's business ideas. He connected Carlos with a web developer when Carlos wanted to start a side business. That one relationship opened 5 more doors. Meanwhile, Carlos also started a side hustle doing social media management for local businesses, a skill he taught himself online. Through the entrepreneur meetups, he met a business owner who became his first client. That client referred him to 3 more. Within 18 months of intentionally upgrading his network, Carlos went from 0 connections in business to having a circle of entrepreneurs, freelancers, and mentors who were all making $100K plus annually. His income followed. His side hustle grew to $3,000 a month, then $6,000 a month. He quit his retail job and went full-time. By 25, Carlos was making $85,000 a year, and it all started because he strategically changed who he surrounded himself with. Here's the Machiavellian principle. Your network is your most valuable asset in your 20s, but most people build it by accident instead of by design. You became friends with people because you went to the same school or lived in the same neighborhood or worked the same job. That's random. Strategic networking means deliberately seeking out relationships with people who are ahead of you, who have skills you need, who can introduce you to opportunities, and who elevate your standards. You don't abandon old friends, but you stop making them your only circle. So how do you actually build a strategic network in your 20s? Let's break it down. Step 1. Audit your current circle. Write down the 5-10 people you spend the most time with. What are their incomes? What are their goals? Are they building businesses, investing, learning skills, or are they just consuming and complaining? If everyone in your circle is broke and directionless, you need to expand that circle immediately. Step 2. Identify where your ideal network hangs out. Want to learn about real estate? Go to local real estate investor meetups. Want to build an online business? Join entrepreneur communities like indie hackers or specific Discord Slack groups. Want to get into tech? Attend hackathons and tech meetups in your city. Your future network isn't going to come to you. You have to go where they are. Step 3. Provide value before asking for anything. This is critical. Don't reach out to successful people asking, "Can you mentor me?" or "Can I pick your brain?" That's taking. Instead, lead with value. Comment thoughtfully on their content. Share their work with your network. Offer to help them with something specific. When you do reach out, make it easy for them. I loved your post about X. I'm working on Y and would love 10 minutes of your time to ask 2 specific questions. Happy to buy you coffee or hop on a quick Zoom. Respect their time and come prepared. Step 4. Build relationships, not transactions. Networking isn't about collecting business cards or LinkedIn connections. It's about building real relationships over time. Follow up, check in, offer updates on how their advice helped you. Introduce them to others. Networking is a long game, not a one-time transaction. Step 5. Join paid communities or masterminds. Free communities are great, but paid communities attract more serious people. $50 month membership or a $500 course with a community attached filters out people who aren't invested. You'll meet higher quality connections who are actually taking action. Step 6. Be strategic about social media. LinkedIn, Twitter, X, and even Instagram can be powerful networking tools if used correctly. Don't just scroll, engage. Comment on posts from people in your industry. Share your own insights and journey. DM people with thoughtful messages. Build your online presence so when you do reach out to someone, they can see you're legitimate and active in the space. Step 7. Create reasons for people to know you. Start a podcast interviewing successful people in your field. Write articles or threads sharing what you're learning. Host meetups or events in your city. When you create content or events, you become the hub and people come to you. This is advanced but incredibly powerful. Here's what strategic networking looks like at different stages. In your early 20s, 21, 24, focus on learning and absorbing. Seek out mentors and people 5-10 years ahead of you. Offer to work for free or cheap in exchange for experience and access. Attend events and join communities, even when you feel like you don't belong yet. In your mid-20s, 25, 27, start building peer relationships with people at your level who are also hustling. These become your accountability partners, collaborators, and future business partners. Continue learning from people ahead of you, but also start giving back to people behind you. In your late 20s, 28, 30, you should now have a strong network you've built over 5 to 7 years. Start leveraging it for partnerships, joint ventures, referrals, and opportunities. Mentor younger people coming up. Become a connector. Introduce people in your network to each other. Here's the truth most people don't realize until they're older. Every major opportunity in life comes through people. Your next job, your first big client, your business partner, your investment opportunities, your breakthrough idea. They all come through relationships. The people getting rich in their 20s aren't smarter than you. They just know people who open doors you don't even know exist. That's not luck. That's strategic networking. Machiavelli warned that a prince who isolates himself loses power quickly. He needs allies, advisors, and connections to maintain and grow his influence. You're the same. If you're trying to build wealth in your 20s alone, grinding in isolation, you'll hit a ceiling fast. But if you deliberately build a network of people who challenge you, teach you, and connect you to opportunities, your growth becomes exponential. Stop hanging out exclusively with people who aren't going anywhere. Start intentionally surrounding yourself with people who are building something, who think bigger, who demand more from life. Your income, your opportunities, and your entire trajectory will follow. Network strategically in your 20s, and by your 30s you'll have relationships worth more than any degree or job ever could be. Point 5. Live below your means and deploy capital smartly. Stop looking rich. Start being rich. Machiavelli warned that a prince who spends lavishly on appearances while his treasury is empty will soon lose his kingdom. In your 20s, looking rich keeps you broke. Being rich requires sacrifice. Here's the biggest trap destroying wealth for people in your 20s: lifestyle inflation. You get your first real paycheck and immediately upgrade everything. New apartment in the trendy part of town. Lease a nice car because you deserve it. Designer clothes because you want to look successful. Eating out every night because cooking is boring. Concerts, trips, bottle service on weekends. Your Instagram looks amazing. Your friends think you're doing great. But your bank account? Empty. Your investments? Zero. Your net worth? Negative because of credit card debt. You're playing the game of looking rich instead of actually building wealth, and it's destroying your financial future. Machiavelli understood the difference between appearance and reality. A weak prince who throws lavish parties and wears expensive clothes while his military is underfunded and his alliances are weak will get conquered quickly. A strong prince lives modestly, saves his resources, invests in his army and infrastructure, and builds real power. The same principle applies to money in your 20s. The people who look rich designer everything, luxury lifestyle, always flexing on social media, are usually broke. The people who are actually building wealth, they're driving used cars, living with roommates, cooking at home, and investing every extra dollar. They don't look rich, but in 10 years they'll be millionaires while the Instagram flexers are still broke. Let me tell you about two friends from college, both 26 now, who took completely different paths. First, there's Brandon. He got a decent job out of college making $55,000 in marketing. The moment he got that first paycheck, Brandon upgraded his entire life. He leased a BMW 3 Series for $450 a month because he wanted to look professional. He moved into a luxury apartment downtown for $2,800 a month when he could have gotten a place with roommates for $700. He bought a new wardrobe, designer jeans, expensive sneakers, the whole flex. He ate out constantly, hit clubs every weekend, took trips to Miami and Vegas. His Instagram was fire. Everyone thought Brandon was killing it. But here's the reality. Brandon was making $55,000, roughly $3,500 a month after taxes. His rent was $1,800 car. Payment and insurance was $550. Eating out and entertainment was another $800. Shopping and subscriptions was $300. That's $3,450 before student loan. Payments, gas, utilities, or any savings. Brandon was living paycheck to paycheck on a decent salary. He had zero savings, zero investments, and $12,000 in credit card debt from funding his lifestyle. At 26, his net worth was negative $65,000. Student loans plus credit card debt. He looked rich but was completely broke. Now let's talk about his college friend Emma. Emma got a similar job making $52,000 in sales. But Emma made completely different choices. She kept living like a broke college student, even though she was making real money. She found a place with two roommates for $650 a month instead of getting her own place. She drove her 2015 Honda Civic that she bought used for $8,000 cash, paid off, reliable, ugly but functional. She meal prepped on Sundays instead of eating out. She went out with friends maybe twice a month instead of every weekend. She shopped at Target and thrift stores, not designer boutiques. Her Instagram was boring compared to Brandon's. People probably thought she was struggling. But here's what was really happening. Emma was making $52,000, about $3,300 a month after taxes. Her rent was $650. Her car was paid off, so just insurance and gas was $150. Food was $300 because she cooked. Entertainment and going out was maybe $200. Her total monthly expenses were under $1,500. That left her with $1,800 every single month to invest and save. She maxed out her Roth IRA at $583 a month. She put $500 a month in a high-yield savings account building her emergency fund. She invested another $500 a month in index funds in a taxable brokerage account. The remaining $200 went to paying off her modest student loans aggressively. At 26, Emma had $45,000 invested across her Roth IRA and brokerage account, $18,000 in emergency savings, and only $15,000 left in student loans. Her net worth was positive $48,000. She didn't look rich, but she was actually building real wealth. In another 10 years, her investments will likely be worth over $200,000 just from what she's already invested, not counting continued contributions. Brandon will probably still be broke, still flexing, still trapped. That's the Machiavellian insight. In your 20s, every dollar you spend on looking rich is a dollar that's not building actual wealth. The BMW doesn't make you wealthy. It makes the dealership and the bank wealthy while keeping you broke. The luxury apartment doesn't build equity. It makes your landlord rich. The designer clothes don't appreciate. They lose value the moment you buy them. These things are all consuming your capital instead of deploying it strategically to build real power and wealth. So how do you actually live below your means and deploy capital smartly in your 20s? Let's break it down. Step 1. Calculate your freedom number. The minimum amount you need monthly to cover rent, food, utilities, insurance, and transportation. For most people in their 20s, this is $2,500 to $2,500 depending on your city. Everything above that is your deployment capital. Money you can either waste on lifestyle or invest in building wealth. Step 2. Keep your 3 biggest expenses low. Housing, transportation, and food are 60–70% of most people's budgets. Get a roommate or live in a less trendy area to keep rent under 30% of take-home pay. Drive a reliable used car, not a lease. Cook most of your meals. Win on these 3 categories and you'll have money to invest. Step 3. Implement the 50–30–20 rule with a twist. Traditional advice says 50% needs, 30% wants, 20% savings. But if you want to get rich in your 20s, flip it. 50% needs, 20% wants, 30% investments and savings. You'll have to sacrifice some lifestyle in the short term, but you're building long-term wealth. Step 4. Delay gratification strategically. You don't need the new iPhone every year. You don't need a luxury car in your 20s. You don't need the expensive apartment. Drive the used car for 5 more years. Stay with roommates until you're 28. Buy last year's tech. Every dollar you save by delaying upgrades goes into investments that compound for decades. Step 5. Deploy every raise and windfall intelligently. Got a $3,000 raise? Don't inflate your lifestyle by $250 a month. Inflate it by $100 and invest the other $150. Got a $2,000 tax refund or bonus? Don't blow it on a trip. Invest $2,500 and enjoy $500. Every windfall is an opportunity to accelerate your wealth building. Step 6. Track your cost per use. That $200 pair of sneakers you wear once, $200 per use. Those same sneakers worn 100 times. Choice per use. Buy quality items you'll use frequently. Skip expensive things you'll use once. This mindset shift alone saves thousands annually. Step 7. Surround yourself with people who value wealth building over flexing. If all your friends pressure you to spend money to keep up, you need new friends. Find people who celebrate investing, who talk about financial goals, who'd rather have a potluck than blow $100 at a restaurant. Your environment determines your spending habits. Here's what living below your means looks like at different income levels in your 20s. Making $30K, $40K. Live with roommates. Drive a Beta, cook everything. Entertainment is free or cheap. Save and invest $300, $500 a month. Making $40K, $60K. Maybe live alone in a modest place or keep roommates. Reliable used car. Cook most meals. Limited dining out. Save and invest $800 to $200 a month. Making $60K, $80K less. You can afford a nicer place but don't need luxury. Reliable car but not new. Balance of cooking and occasional dining out. Save and invest $2,500, $2,500 a month. Making $80K plus. You have options but still live well below means. Nice but not extravagant housing. Quality used car, enjoy life but don't waste money. Save and invest $3,000 plus this month. At every income level, the principle is the same. Live on 50–70% of your income. Invest the rest. Here's the brutal reality check most people in their 20s need. Nobody actually cares about your car, your apartment, or your clothes as much as you think they do. The people who do care, who judge you for not flexing, are usually broke themselves and coping with their own financial failures by pulling you down. The successful people, they respect the person driving the 2012 Honda while building a $100K investment portfolio, way more than the person leasing a Mercedes while broke. Real wealth is quiet. Fake wealth is loud. Machiavelli taught that the prince who appears strong but has no real resources will fall when tested. The prince who appears modest but has full treasuries and strong armies will conquer. In your 20s, you're building your treasury and your army. Every dollar you invest is a soldier in your wealth-building army. Every dollar you waste on appearances is a soldier you're sacrificing for nothing. Build your army in private. Let people think whatever they want. In 10 years, when they're still broke and flexing, you'll be wealthy and free. Here's your action plan. This week, audit your last 3 months of spending. Identify where you're wasting money on appearance and status. Cut those expenses in half. Redirect that money to investments. Open that Roth IRA if you haven't. Set up automatic investments. Choose to look broke and be rich instead of looking rich and being broke. That's the Machiavellian move. That's how you actually build wealth in your 20s. Sacrifice the short-term flex for long-term freedom. Your 30-year-old self will thank you when you're financially independent, while your peers are still trapped in jobs they hate, driving leased cars they can't afford, living in apartments they're one paycheck away from losing. Live below your means now, deploy your capital strategically, and build real wealth that nobody can take away from you. Look, I get it. Building wealth in your 20s isn't easy. You're dealing with student loans, low starting salaries, rent that eats half your paycheck, and everyone around you is telling you to just enjoy being young. But here's what I want you to know. You don't have to figure this out alone. I'm committed to being here with you every single day, breaking down exactly what you need to know to get rich in your 20s, one strategy at a time. Just give me 50 minutes a day. That's all I'm asking. Hit that subscribe button right now and turn on notifications, because tomorrow I'm bringing you another insight that's going to move you one step closer to the wealth and freedom you deserve. We're building your financial future together. I believe in you, and I'll see you in the next video.